All right, so again, we started off with, I'm going to go through the steps again. All right, so we started off with our straight guideline, which is super light. We did our curved line. We went under, and back up. All right, Macario. And then we went from there to drawing the shape of our top lip and our bottom lip. After that, we did one layer of the lines, the ones that we blended out completely at first. Remember that gray layer that's under here? And then on top of that, we did a second layer of the lines, make sure that they're nice and curved to create that volume. And then now we're doing a third layer. This time it's going to be a little bit darker than the past two, so that way we can get those lines in our lips that we
Time
had.
to intensify the shadows even more. Create a few more lines along the opening of the mouth, but make the space wider. To make the lips stand out more, we also need to add a shadow underneath. So for this step, use a soft brush again and add a shadow following the lower line. Blend everything out with a Q-tip by moving your blending tool in the shape of a curve. It needs to be wider in the middle than to the left and right side. Next, intensify a shadow just below the lips by pressing down the pencil slightly firmer. A good way to see if the shape is off is by turning the paper upside down. This way you can clearly see that the curve is not very symmetrical.
That is a life hack. All right. So make sure that you're turning your mouth upside down, and I promise it'll definitely help you out. You'll be able to clearly see which side of the mouth is more lopsided than the other. It makes it a lot easier for you.
To make the lips even more three-dimensional, you can take an eraser and erase a thin line along the lower lip. Here I'm using a kneadable eraser because I can form it into any shape I need. And to add more light reflections, use an eraser again and remove some of the pencil that is on the highest point of the lower lip and a little bit on the right side. If you look closely, we also have this bright line on the upper lip. That's why I removed some of the pencil there as well. Next, what we need to do is adding highlights the same way above the mouth by following the shape of the upper lip.
All right. So now she's just using an eraser, touching stuff up, lighting up areas to make the light look like it's hitting it.
You want to create a bright line right above the lips. This way the lips will stand out even more. I also slightly removed the shadow on the right side but made sure that it's still slightly gray. And from here we just need to add some final touch-ups. Add a little bit more shadows to the right side of the inner part of the cupid's bow, a little bit more shadow to the left side of the mouth, below the lower lip and in between the lips. If you want to learn to draw realistically, you really need to be patient and remind yourself not to give up. Because if you create the base for the drawing, it looks like nothing. You just add lines, blend them together, and you don't get the result immediately. Only after some time, when you start building up the drawing more and more, and then when you start adding highlights, light reflection, and more details, only then you see that it actually makes sense and that you just need to be patient and take your time.
You see how much time she's putting in, just perfecting it, touching it up, not getting frustrated, just kind of trying different stuff and getting it right.
At first, when I was drawing the lips, I had a system, but when I started adding more and more details, the steps were all over the place. And that's okay because after some time, you start to see what you need to fix, what you need to remove, to add, and so on. So it's okay if it doesn't look the same way or if you need more time because drawing and painting is a process after all. And sometimes you plan out exactly how you want to draw something, but in the end, it turns out differently. But that's okay, you might find things that you can fix, but you can also discover that you actually like it. So please don't get discouraged if you retry my tutorials and you fail at first. Just keep working on it, see what you might be doing wrong, and you don't even have to follow every step. Make it your own, make it your style.
All right, so there we go.